Welcome to Meeting of the Moms, a place to talk about all the things. I'm Amy Rasmussen. I'm a teacher by profession, a wife and mother by choice, an optimist by nature, and happy by design. I'm here with my good friend Lorna, who I call one of my greatest cheerleaders.
Hi, I'm Lorna Adams. I'm a wife, mom, and certified life coach. I strive to embrace and enjoy each new phase of life. Here at Moms, we believe the world is wide open to all of us and that we have unlimited potential. We're so glad you're here.
Hey Lorna, how are you this morning?
I am doing pretty good. Amy, how about you?
Good, I'm okay. The thing on my mind today that I'm hoping we can talk about is summer, because school ends in 2 days. It's Wednesday and Friday is the last day of school. But is your last day tomorrow for your...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you up for that?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
All right, cool. So this summer, I've got all 3 boys at home. Everyone's living at home because my oldest was working from home for the summer doing fire crew. So that schedule will seem regular initially, and then it will be all over the place. He'll be gone sometimes for 2 weeks at a time, maybe 3 weeks, then he'll be home. So I know that we're going into that. And then my 17-year-old is doing a more regular job. So he's got really regular hours. It's just Tuesday to Friday, 6:30 to 2:30. And I'm like, oh, well, that's nice. I can just plan on that and he can plan on that. And he has something set up, I think, that he's also going to do on Mondays. And then I have my 12-year-old at home. So he's wanting to do some work to earn money. But of course, he won't be doing anything that was full-time, even if he wanted to, because that's not age appropriate in my perspective. But I had him make a list. So anyway, that's kind of like where my kids are. And then my husband is doing his job and we're doing this, but our summers are always different. And so then you and I kind of mix it up with what we're doing. So what's on your, before we dive into what we want to do and stuff, where are you at with your people in your home?
So yeah, this will be the first summer that I have no girls at home. So
Yeah,
that is
that'll be new.
I've anticipated that for the last couple of weeks. I've known that that's the thing. Well, not even actually the last couple of months. So my 3 girls will for sure be out of the house this summer. They all have summer jobs or summer school that they're doing in college. And then my son is still working on getting a job. He's applied to a couple different places. It just hasn't quite worked out where he has anything settled yet. So that's where I am kid-wise. And then my husband's doing his thing and I'm doing, the podcast that we do. And then also the coaching. So I have those kind of things to be working with.
Yep. So I think one of the things that's most interesting to me this summer, like with you having none of the girls home, for me, it's like I have very little pre-work structuring I need to do. I do need to do some for my 12-year-old, but in the past, when the kids are younger, it's like, okay, they want to earn some money, but I need to be pretty involved in helping them figure out how to branch out before they're 16. Or, okay, we have the summer stretching out before us. I want us to have some ideas of fun things we want to do. And also here is the structure I'm planning on you doing. It's not just you all sit around and I run around like a crazy person with a bombshell every day. We're not doing that. So that has been kind of a funny thing that I'm thinking about as I move into it. How much structure do I need to put into place to help our family? But then also I was thinking, I want to know what's important to different people so that we can be mutually supportive. So one of the things I'm thinking about doing is something I did the past 2 Christmases for our break from school. And that is I want to actually put a spreadsheet together, have different people tell me the things that are important to them this summer, and then rank them. And I'll put my stuff in there too. My husband can put his stuff in there too. And then we can rank them and we can see what things are really important to each person and what things are slightly important. And then the reason to do this, in my mind, one of the biggest things is that at the end of Christmas break, when we've done this and we look at how many things we actually got to do from our menu of items, we're often pleasantly surprised. It was like, wow, we actually really got to participate in a lot of the things that we were interested in. And I don't do it as a bucket list. Not that I'm against bucket lists completely, but I think sometimes a bucket list, you end up focusing on those things you have not done yet. And then it feels like, oh, well, we didn't complete that. Whereas a menu is, it's just all right, here is us being full of desire, full of possibility. You can dream a little bit. I don't have to be well, I'm not putting that on the list if I don't think I can actually do it. I can still put it on there and just be yeah, I'm curious how that'll pan out. And then it's almost like a pleasant surprise at the end to see what happens, as opposed to a high focus on whatever didn't get completed. So that's one thing on my radar.
And I think it's fun because then everyone can be thinking. I think it's just the idea of being proactive. And what do we want summer to look like? What could it possibly look like? Let's jot some things down. I think it's fun to be a little more proactive.
And I'll probably call it Summer of Possibilities.
Cute.
because I
Yeah.
like that wording.
Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking too for myself, that allows me to step into like, yes, even though 3 out of the 5 people in our household have much more structured schedules, and I've got some pretty big things that I'm focusing on, there are maybe some things I want us to prioritize to do as a family. And it doesn't have to happen at a specific time, but maybe I'd like to happen, it had to happen at some time. Or
Yeah.
there's some rhythms that I still
Yeah.
want. So if one thing I thought about is with my oldest son, I talked to him about continuing to cook dinner once a week for the family. And I have lots of reasons for him to have an assigned day to do that. One of them is just he'll get more confident in the kitchen. So he's a lot more like me. I have one son who loves cooking. And my husband tends to enjoy cooking. Cooking's not my happy place. And this is how this particular son is. And I'm like, so I was talking to him about it. He's like, yeah, I actually think it would be good, even as I'm doing fire crew, to be cooking once a week, because then I can kind of expand my skill set there and the things I'm comfortable with. So there's some
Yeah.
things like that are kind of our rhythms that I want in place. And then there'll also be things that are maybe more of a one and done things, fun things to go do. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, and I like the idea about the dinner part. I think that is fun because I feel the same way. Like summer has always been a little bit looser structure wise, just because of everyone's kind of coming and going. It's not the same as the school year where we know people are at school from 8 to 3, dad's at
Yep.
work from 8 to 5. I'm trying to be flexible after 3, like keep my afternoons open. Where this summer is going to be a lot different. But I just love the idea of just being mindful of some of those rhythms, some of the things I want to make sure we're doing. And I feel like right now too, we just ended baseball season. We've had just maybe 2-ish weeks since baseball season ended. So life was different with baseball season.
Yep.
And now we're wrapping up the school year. And now it's like, hey, what are some of those things that even before baseball season we wanted to be doing or we were trying to
Yep.
do in between some of those other seasons? And so just being mindful of what do we want to bring back? What could be helpful? Anyway, so I'm loving that.
Yep. Well, and I love that too, that you're saying, what do we want to bring back? Because sometimes we have a tendency to be like, oh, well, we stopped doing that. So I guess that's not the thing for us. As opposed to
Yeah.
like, no. It just ended for a season. And
Yeah.
so we want to get back to that because we did love it when we were doing it, when it was maybe not in baseball season.
Yeah. Totally.
As I was just telling you about the dinner thing, it helped me remember that I also actually want my other 2 boys to each have a night that they're in charge of for dinner. Because my 17-year-old, I mean, he already likes cooking. And so if he just knows, cool, this is the night that I can do, and I'll decide how much leeway I want to give him. My older son's just like, will you just tell me what you want me to make? And we'll see if that changes. But my 17-year-old might be like, really? Can I make whatever I want? And I'll say no, but you can run it by me first. And then we can see how that goes. But yes, you can have leeway. I just still need to know first. But then I would probably have a night when I'm cooking with my 12-year-old because there's things that he can cook by himself. But again, I'd like him to expand it. So I'm really glad I verbalized that to you. And then as you were talking, I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that with my other 2 boys too. Because school year is actually harder for them to have an assigned time. They've been at school all day long, and then they sometimes have their sports and all the things. So
Totally. I'm just making all sorts of notes for myself. Like, this is good.
Well, this is why I wanted to talk about it because I'm like, I want to verbalize so that I'm like also making my notes.
Yeah, totally.
So another thing that's been on my mind actually comes from something you guys do or have done. I don't know if you're in this or not, but it's your reading 10 minutes after dinner. So I just want you
made
to
that same note.
Okay. Well, I want you to tell me again, because I mentioned it to one of my kids the other day, and we do a lot of reading in our family. And so I was saying, that sounded like such a fun idea. And then I thought, well, maybe we don't need to do it. And then this child said, I think it could still be like really fun, although I don't know if we could limit ourselves to 10 minutes. So I thought that was funny. But will you tell me how you guys have done it? I just want to hear again.
So we all grab a book, and it typically has been personal development. When we very first started, all of us were doing personal development, but it has evolved into whatever people want to read. But I really do set a 10-minute timer on my watch. And then when it's over, so we're all reading silently. And then when it's over, then we each take a turn to just kind of summarize what we read. So it's just been fun to hear other people's what they're gaining as they're reading. And it's been fun how some of our things have intertwined. So it really is that simple. And there have definitely been times where I have said, this is time and I'm going to let it keep going. I usually whisper it, even if I want to keep going. And then I make a mental note, I'm going to finish this page and the next page. And then I'll officially tell people, all right, time to wrap up.
Right.
So, and it really could be any amount of time. It just has seemed like 10 has been an easy time to start.
Yes.
Like, let's just do 10 minutes. We can all do 10 minutes no matter how full our evenings
Right.
seem
Easier
for
to
the
be
most part.
consistent.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Yeah.
did that answer your questions?
Yeah. I knew that there were a couple pieces. I'd forgotten about the doing some sharing afterward part. And I wasn't sure if you had started with personal development or not. So I like that too, to say if we can all do something that's personal development, whatever that means, you get to choose the book, that's fine. But I think that would expand some of our reading because since we do read, I mean, we read plenty of novels. So I don't know that we need that. Although it could be fun in a family where we just want to read, period. Or like you
Yeah,
said, it's morphed into read whatever you want. And I don't know if that would be a hill I would die on for the
yeah,
personal development.
yeah.
But I'm going to bring it
So,
up.
well, and it has been fun because both my husband and I do love personal development, and my son was great with it for a while. And then it seemed like there was a book he was needing to read for school anyway. And so then he started into that one, and then
Yep.
it just kind of gone from there. So,
Yeah.
but I was also thinking another part like that could be fun to add on to this is also doing a family book. I've always loved reading aloud to my kids. And so I have toyed with this in the last, I don't know, the last little while, months, year, I don't know. That it would be fun to have a regular book that we're reading. And so 10 more minutes after we do our personal reading, we're going to do this family reading, and then they can be doing whatever they want. That they can still be listening, but
Right.
then be doing, if they want to be doing art or if they want to be doing whatever, they can play a game or what, you know what I mean? Some of
Yep.
those more solitary type games or whatever. That then it could still be something that we're doing and connecting together. Because I love reading. I love hearing stories. I think it's fun to do things like that with people, as you know, everything with somebody, like with
Yep.
friends, with family,
Yep.
whatever. It's fun. So I think that
Yep.
could be fun too to add with the individual reading.
Yeah, I love it. We've done a couple family read alouds and we've all tended to enjoy it. Again, we'd have a hard time holding it to 10 minutes probably. And of course,
Yeah,
that's a starting place, right? That's
right.
it's just like,
Totally.
let's do it. Sometimes I've read while everyone else cleans up from dinner because I tend to make dinner most often. So even there, we could say like, okay, whoever made dinner, you get to read aloud to us, the rest of
Yeah.
us clean up. So we could mix it up. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too because that wasn't on my radar right this
How do you
second.
do that with like dishes being loud, like the water running, people filling dishwasher?
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
Some like it works better sometimes than others.
Okay.
But if I sit at the table just with where things are located, then I can read loud enough. I think some of my other family members would have a hard time reading loud enough. Sometimes I've moved the chair over closer to the person who's at
That's
the
what I'm thinking.
so they can hear me and the other people who are clearing up can hear.
Here.
And I think audiobooks are another option if we put the audiobook on and everyone helps clean up. But it's nice to pair it with something. That's part of why after dinner, you're pairing it with
Yeah.
something where we're like,
Yeah.
if we eat together and then we read together or whoever's here.
Yeah.
And then I also like pairing something that's maybe not as fun, the cleaning up, with something that we are looking forward to,
Yeah,
which is
totally.
the
Hey,
listening.
and
So
I think it would be fun to look into some audiobooks. I haven't loved most audiobooks, like the reader themselves.
yeah.
I haven't done a ton with audiobooks. We've done some when we've been on trips from time to time, but typically I'm reading. And my daughter had just mentioned that just the other day too, that she hasn't loved audiobooks because of the reader. It just kind of depends. Like they
Yeah.
can add or almost take away.
Yep.
So finding some of those good books could be fun too.
Yep. Yeah. And I know I've heard that before. Some people that I've talked to struggle with the reader. And for me, I think most of the time the reader works for me. So that's fine. But I have
Yeah.
had a few. I remember one series in particular where I'm like, I just can't do it. It's so annoying to me how this person reads. So
Fine.
I
Yeah,
totally
that's
agree.
funny.
I agree
That's
that that's the
funny.
thing. Um, so on my walk this morning, Renee and I were talking about that first day of school or last day of school picture you might get of your kids holding a little frame or whatever. And this last fall, I did one for myself for the first time in my life. And I remember thinking, why did I not do this all these years? Because it still would have shown my progression,
Yeah.
even if all it
Yeah.
said was like, first day of school and my name. Fine. I did in the fall, I put some things that I wanted to work on. And you've seen the picture, but I put some things I wanted to work on. So Renee said it could be fun if you did that for summer, even just for myself. I didn't post it, but if I took a picture with a couple things on the chalkboard or whiteboard that I want to do, and then you can actually see at the end of summer and maybe bookend it with another picture
Yeah.
of the things you're happy about, your celebration picture. So
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. I also even thought it was fun in relation to the kids. Maybe just four things they want to focus on in the summer. So it's not like this huge list, but if it's just on the chalkboard and maybe one in each area of life, physical, social, whatever. And then we could take a picture at the beginning and a picture at the
Well, and
end.
even to use those as, even if you're not doing the picture necessarily, right? But just kind of a way even to guide ideas for summer. What are some
Yep.
things that could be fun to do physically? What could be fun spiritually, intellectually, and socially?
I'm kind of excited about that idea. I think what I like about the picture is that then I have a record
Yeah,
and I'll see
for
it
sure.
later. And I could even get the pictures printed and we could hang them up. So it's a
Yeah.
super easy way to be like, okay, there are some of the things I want to focus on. Do you have other things that you're excited
Well,
about doing?
just one of them is one of the thoughts I had as you were talking earlier is looking for opportunities to connect with my kids that are away somewhat consistently.
Yes.
I don't have a great idea. Well, one of my ideas is one daughter, her class is at a really good time for us to talk as we're both getting ready. So I could talk to her. And we've already kind of done that these last couple of weeks where she started summer school, but looking for opportunities to really be connecting with my kids that are away because I love them and it is fun for me to talk to them. So I'm just mulling it over. Like, what could be an easy and consistent way? It seems like we've done Sundays a lot, but I also am wondering if there's some other way to do it throughout the week and
Yeah.
just consistent. I just like there's something for me when I'm doing it consistently that just, yep, that's the routine. I know it's going to happen.
Yep.
In addition to all of the other sporadic times, I'm totally open to that too.
Right.
Just wanting to make sure I'm connecting with them regularly.
But I like what you said is you're looking for opportunities. So some might fall into a rhythm, like with your
Yeah.
one daughter, but others, I think sometimes if we have it on our mind that way, I'm going to look for opportunities to connect. Then when it presents itself, we're like, yes, I
Yeah.
actually am going to pause my other stuff that I'm doing more consistently to take the opportunity. So I think that is also a fun way
Yeah.
even to verbalize
Yeah.
it. One other thing that I've done in the past that I have not pulled out this year yet is calendars that are just for the summer. So, I mean, I have my calendars that I hang up, but sometimes I like to have some that I'm using as a working document, not the family calendar. And it's just like a one page, it can even be blank. I don't know if you can see that,
Uh-huh.
that I put the numbers in. And so I haven't pulled that out yet, but I was thinking I want to pull that out. I want to put the different camps in that are going on. I'm going to summer games for soccer with my 12-year-old this year. And then he has a camp. And I don't know if my 17-year-old's going on that camp or not. I think not. But then my 17-year-old's going a different week. And then we have two birthdays in June in our family. So it helps me visually to see what's going on when, and to see when will the whole family actually be around that I know of. I mean, I don't totally know with the fire crew stuff,
Right.
but that is something else I would like to sit down and do.
I'm all about a hard copy. I love seeing it. Digitally is
Yep.
awesome, but I like to
Right.
see it with all the pieces. Like, yep, that one week is when you're there. This is that week that you're there. Yes, I totally agree. I do my own hard copy calendaring because of that. Like, let's see what it's actually looking like.
Well, and I also like that then I can put all 3 months of summer out in front of me at the
Right.
same time, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot harder.
You can see
digitally.
yep.
And I can see all the things on the calendar. Something else that's fun that we've discovered is Spring City has free concerts in the park just once a month, once or twice a month. And Nelson and I have found that they're actually quite fun and relaxing to go to. You just bring your own chair, and there's a variety. Sometimes it's indie rock, sometimes it's bluegrass and folk music. So part of it too with the spreadsheet or this list of possibilities is to help me remember what things we've enjoyed in the past and to be able to put them on there. In addition to things like I want to incorporate more hills into my life because I do a lot of walking and running on flat ground. And that means if we go out and hike, I'm getting pretty winded and I'm tired. It just is different. And so I've been thinking about how can I be hiking? Could I do that with my 12-year-old and say once a week, you and I are doing the same hike. We're not going to do a bunch of different ones, but the same one that's close. Or so I've thought of that. And I've also thought of maybe looking at my weights or whatever, like how am I doing my weight training and how do I want to be doing it? So yeah, just all the things. I'm looking at the things for myself personally, in addition to thinking, what do I need to also help my kids put some structure around?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it is interesting to me because summer is just looser. Like, because you don't have those same parameters like practices. I don't know. It just is so interesting when work is flexible or when schedules like work schedules are different from day to day.
Yes.
Right. With kids' schedules. Anyway, it just is an interesting thing. And so, yeah, trying to add some continuity and structure with it just being kind of a flexible thing. We have a few times where we've talked about being out of town and like, how will that look? Like how, and even I feel like I have some good routines going. And then when we go out of town, then I come back and it's okay, I want to get back into those same
Right.
routines, but it takes some effort. And it
Yep.
could be great to keep some of those routines while we are out of town. Some of those things are
Just
possible. So
noticing, I
anyway,
think, the
just
rhythms that
lots of
work well
thinking.
and the
Yep.
rhythms that get in the way of the overall fun, right? Just
Yes.
having, and you could probably do things like a word for the summer, kind of like people do a word for the year.
Yeah.
That could be fun, or a phrase or whatever. There could be some fun things there. A soundtrack for the summer could be fun. Super fun. Two other things that I'm playing with a little bit are I love the idea from Gretchen Rubin at the beginning of a year to do like 26 things to do in 2026. So
Yeah.
whatever the year is. And so I was just thinking this morning, well, I could do 26 things to do summer of 2026. Or she'll have a summer of, maybe like a summer of C.S. Lewis. Like she has an author, and that's what she reads for that summer. One time she had a summer of rereading because she does enjoy rereading, but sometimes she doesn't make herself do it. So I thought that was
Hmm.
fun. But other people have had, like you might have the summer of traveling to see my girls, for example, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just framing this summer that you have coming up to kind of give it its own feel for the
Yeah.
season of it. So I love that. So I might do a 26 for 2026 summer edition, which I've never done before. And then my other thought was this year is my husband's and my 25th wedding anniversary. And we've been kind of playing with how to, and it's in the summer, it's in August. And so we've been playing with how to do stuff with that. And I was just thinking it could be fun if we came up with what are 25 things we'd like to do together this summer. Not huge things. They can
Yeah.
be little things, right? Like let's go to at least one of the concerts in Spring City. That would be fun. Let's do one time where it's just the two of us and we go climbing. Or whatever it is,
Yeah.
we could come up with something like that. Or if he isn't on board for that, I could choose to do 25 things that celebrate us. So making some notes.
Yeah. 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 Same. I'm doing the same. Well, and I love, to me, summer almost has a different smell. A lot of summers, or I think every summer for at least the last 10 years, probably 15 years, actually, we've gone to Bear Lake at least for around a week, if not even longer, or two times around a week each, because we share a cabin on the water just there in Bear Lake. And so to me, summer almost has a smell, even that even if I'm not at Bear Lake, like the idea of summer has that kind of smell. And so even that, I'm like, oh, I love summer. I love that. Like it's just nostalgic or something. I don't know. Kind of a fun thing. So the soundtrack for summer is sounding great. One of my daughters for sure has on our shared Amazon account, she has songs that are something like summer vibes or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I should just pull out her playlist and be listening to her stuff. And anyway, continuing to find some other things to plan around here, but then I don't know, just enjoying what summer actually feels like to me and using that energy to plan some things.
Yeah, I love that. Well, so I'm actually currently doing a very slow read with a friend of Life in Five Senses by Gretchen Rubin. And so as we were talking, I'm like, yeah, you could totally step into all five senses. So if you're I think any season that's coming up, and whether you're looking forward to it or whether you're dreading it, I think you can step back from it a little bit and think about, well, what do I want it to be? So that's kind of like your summer of that idea. But then also, what do I want it to smell like? What do I want it to sound like? What do I want it to taste like? And so
Yeah.
I just wrote that down. Like I could do that with my kids. What are the tastes of summer for you? What are the smells of summer? And if campfire is a smell of summer because of camping or something like that, but you can't camp, well, how could you incorporate that? Could you do
Yeah.
one night of getting to sit around a fire somewhere? I don't know. So, well, that's fun too. Like more and more just possibilities of
Totally.
summer.
Well, and before you said that about the campfire, I had written that out to do a fire. And just because it's fun, right? It's just something that adds, I think, to the feeling of summer. And then I even thought sometimes it is kind of a pain to do the fire, but even roasting marshmallows over our gas stove could just be a little evening and activity after dinner sometime if my husband and my son are here, or if we want to plan it with other people to actually do a fire outside. But we could still be doing some of these things, even more small scale or bigger scale.
Yep. And I think it could even go along with the essence of. It could
Yeah.
be the essence of. And so you could write down the memories you have and you can be like, I'm going to be full of desire and easy to please, the essence of a campfire. Okay,
Yeah.
so that could look like after work one day, we do go up the canyon and actually build a fire. Or it could look like we roast some marshmallows over our gas, whatever. Did you say your gas stove or your gas fireplace or your
Gas
stove?
stove.
Yeah.
We do have a fire pit in our backyard, so we easily could also.
Okay. that's a middle of the road one, right?
Yes,
But I mean,
right.
there's
Options.
lots of ways to have the essence of something
Yeah.
rather than making like it can only mean this one thing. And I think it
Yeah.
goes back to your opportunities of connection with your girls specifically who are going to be out of the house because it's like, okay, what's the essence of connecting with my oldest and my second oldest and my third oldest? What's the essence of it? And then how do we bring that in given our current situation? I think it's
Yeah.
super. I just made a note like we could do like eat outside once or we could end up and sometimes you do it once and you're like that was fun, let's do it again. And
Yeah.
sometimes you're like that was fun one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
Hooray, we did it. So
Well, and I like just the whole picnic idea kind of thing. It is interesting how we have a back patio that when it's not so hot, it is like this time of year, right this minute, like
yes.
May, how
This is
this May
probably the
has been. It has been so fun to be out there. And so I'm glad we're enjoying that. And it's like, yeah, let's keep enjoying that until it's too hot.
Right.
But it sure is fun. So, our own make do, like not on the grass on a blanket picnic, but our backyard, our back patio.
Yep. Right. Well, and when I was saying eat outside, we can eat out on our back patio too, which is kind of fun. But anyway, I'm just loving this. I'm just thinking like, do I want more outside time? Do I not want more outside time? Someone might say I want more time by the water. That's pretty much never my thing. But I mean, I do like some natural water stuff. And so anyway, this is so fun. I'm glad we talked about this just for me, just selfishly. I'm glad we talked about it. And again, none of it to make it a heavy load that I somehow have to do or I'm not successful, but instead just this idea of possibility.
Yeah.
That could be fun. And I'm even going to say I might say one time we will buy stuff from the ice cream truck. You guys, we have an ice cream truck that comes around still. And I think it might be a teenager now. It was a dad. Anyway, but people know them. It's the dad who does all the recreation stuff for our city, I think. And then sometimes his son comes around. And it is like the tiniest little truck van thing. I'm like, how does that even exist? But I don't usually want to go buy a treat from the ice cream truck because it's more expensive. And if we need to, why not just buy what I want? But it could be fun as a one-time thing. When we hear the music coming, we're going to go out and get it. Because there's something just fun and childlike about hearing the music from the ice cream truck. So.
Totally. Well, and it makes me think about some of those summers. One summer, my husband made a rainbow sprinkler with PVC pipe.
Oh,
and
yes.
and poked holes in it so he could set it up. And so then the kids could go sliding. So it was more of like a 2 or 3 person slip and slide with a black plastic. Right. And so even that, there's a smell that I can associate with those summer days of pulling out the black plastic and the PVC little rainbow sprinkler. And it was like snow cones. I think actually we still have a snow cone machine. I just haven't really thought about it. Just one of those little, like one of my kids, I think grandma and grandpa gave it to her for her birthday, but just a small little snow cone maker. And anyway, just some of that. And it might be fun to be able to pull out our own little homemade snow cone maker and have that for some afternoon or anyway. Yeah, this is fun to be thinking outside the box of making summer fun again.
Yes. Oh, I love, see, that could be your summer of making summer fun again, right?
Yeah.
So fun. Well, I'm excited to go talk to my kids specifically about the scents, the 5 senses.
Sorry. I mean, my brain is going now. I needed some time. We've also, in the past, we've done some outdoor movies. Let's pull out our projector and our screen and have my son, if he wants to, invite some friends over. He doesn't have to, or a weekend when maybe some of my girls are around. Anyway, there's just lots of fun things to be had and to be doing.
Well, I've known that summer is around the corner. And yet because I wasn't in the state of like it's a necessity to do the structure, I realized I hadn't been doing some of the stuff I've done in the past, which is why today I'm like, let's talk about it. Because a lot of times when you and I start talking, then it's like, oh, yes, and this, and oh, it can be fun. Okay, this'll be great. But I'm just thinking of talking to my kids about the 5 senses of summer could also bring back so many fun memories. In fact, it could be a fun thing to do around our fire pit that we have in the backyard. And we could roast some hot dogs or something. And so it's like a chilled, laid back kind of environment to do that.
Yeah.
Fun, so.
Yeah. So fun. I'm still making ideas or writing down my ideas.
Okay. What other ideas are you writing down? Are you going to share them?
Just like tinfoil dinners or Dutch oven in our fire pit. Like we totally could do that.
Okay, this reminds me that some summers I would come up with a skills list for my kids. So there were fun things, but then there were also things like, okay, what skills would it be awesome for you to learn? So I did some things with my boys where they'd sew buttons onto fabric. So they would just get used to that. Or sew a pillowcase or make something in a Dutch oven. So I'm loving this too because I haven't gotten out the skills list and I could do it at all three levels. I could talk to my adult son and say, would you have fun coming up with a list of things that you're like, I would actually really like it if your dad could like teach me how to do this thing that I'm now realizing I wish I knew how to do, right? So that would be in his court. And my 17-year-old would probably be a little bit of each, but same kind of thing. What are you wanting to learn how to do? So right now I'm teaching him how to figure out tires because we need the car that he drives needs replacement tires. And so I'm having him kind of go through the steps of knowing how to get them done. Not like the physical part that my husband knows how to do that. I don't know if we're going to do it, but just the making the appointments and what kind of choosing the tires and all of that. So I'm having him do that.
Cool.
So I'm liking remembering the skills. And then of course my 12-year-old, it would be a little more me directed, even though I could still ask him. All of my kids are old enough that I could say, are there skills you want? And I could do my own thing. I could say, I would really like to know how to do this. So, husband, you have this skill. I would like you to teach that to me so I can figure it out. Or any of my sons, I could ask them for different things that they've learned how to do that they're better at. Technology comes to mind. So,
well, and a summer of music comes to mind in like maybe we do make some effort to be working on that guitar piece that my son has talked about wanting to learn, or I'm doing more on my flute or with the piano. And anyway, this is fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm even thinking one could mix it up because that's something else. You could say, like, okay, 10 minutes after dinner, everyone, not that you're doing all of these things. Everyone out there listening, this is our brainstorming phase where it just gets crazy. But if someone chose to pair that with dinner instead, they could say, okay, 10 minutes, everyone goes to their own place, 10 minutes on music. Go spend 10 minutes. Because 10 minutes a day is a lot more than 0 minutes a day.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it may not feel like much, but really,
Yep.
even reading 10 minutes a day, I'm making progress through my books.
Yeah.
I finished at least one, if not two, and we haven't done it super consistently because of baseball season and games in the evenings. But I'm making progress, and yeah, it totally is
So
worth it.
10 minutes 2 times a week even. I mean, these things make such a difference. So there's all kinds of things. And if sometimes I get super wild and crazy. And so then you could do, okay, Mondays if we're around, 10 minutes of music. Music Monday. Cool. Tuesdays if we're around, whatever. You know, you could even mix it up should someone want that kind of variety. And again, some people are going to be like, that all feels like too much structure. And that's why I think menu helps me.
Yeah.
I like some structure. I don't want everything to be overly structured in the summer because there's also lots of things that just come up as opportunities that you maybe want to be part of. And one thing I miss from when I lived over where you live is our summers in the park where what would we do? Was it once a week we'd get together, I think? Once a week,
I think it was
families, and we expanded it out and we'd play some sort of outdoor game.
Yes, I had that. I even feel like I wrote down games, having a game day. But like we loved some of those games. And I mentioned about Nine Square on here before that I love the game Nine Square and we can rent it from our library. But I think just looking for outdoor games to invite people that maybe we just do a makeshift. This is at night, and we love the game that we played a lot when we were meeting with our families was Scatterball.
Yes.
And so an opportunity to come and play Scatterball. You don't have to be super talented, super athletic, like just come and I feel like that's the same with Nine Square. Neither one of those games require you to be super athletic, but they're both fun. They're fun to be a part of. So.
Yep. Yeah. And we would do them in the morning. I think that has been my biggest thing, Lorna, is trying to find families who want to do it earlier before it gets blazing hot.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you have to wait till it's so much later in the day. Yeah. And so anyway, but I'm still making a note here. We will see.
Well, and I've talked to my son even about playing like a softball game, a wiffle ball type game, and just inviting a few other families to do that on an evening sometime. So maybe that's one of them too.
Yep. Well, and I'm still thinking of some game nights, ones that I've done. I could still ask some moms. I mean, it might be this week. I'm hoping with a couple of friends to do like moms and middle schoolers. And so a few of us are getting together with our middle schoolers because they get out earlier than both the elementary and the high schoolers on this one day. Or no, the high schoolers, I don't know what the high schoolers are doing, but I think the high schoolers have a dance that day and whatever. They're high schoolers. They do their thing, right? But the elementary gets out later. So those of us with the middle schooler, it can be like the moms and the middle school kids, and we're going to play some games. So that's fun. And then we do spend time up the canyon. My husband climbs a ton. And so I know that will be a big part of what's going on this summer. So I want to wrap my brain around how that will work for me. Because so often I can't do climbs at the same places my husband and my kids can. And so just because of how hard it is, like they're climbing in a place where I can't physically do the routes. Yeah. And so figuring out what could support me. So this is yay. Thank you for talking.
Ew, this is good. I haven't spent much time thinking about summer yet either. So anyway, this is great. I have lots of ideas.
Okay. Well, I look forward to hearing what you actually do.
Same.
Yeah. One other thing that comes to mind that I hadn't thought of with all of our talking is that my county puts out a magazine of a whole bunch of the stuff happening over the summer. Whole bunch of dates, all the things, which is really convenient because we have tons of small towns and the same small towns don't necessarily do the same holidays in that certain towns get 4th of July, other towns get Pioneer Day. Some towns do there's several towns that all do 4th of July stuff or whatever, but not every town does the same thing. And I think you have that too. It's like your town does the main 4th of July thing, and then all the outlying towns do 24th of July,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think if there is, I mean, it's got to be online somewhere. You could look at surrounding locations. Or I just looked up free outdoor live concerts in the state of Utah, and there's all kinds of stuff all over the place. So if someone wanted to make it kind of a summer of day trips or a summer of exploring one's own state, there are going to be things out there that one could go and enjoy.
Yeah, that's fun. And that's what I was thinking. Like, there's got to be a resource, I'm sure, on Facebook or Googling. I bet it would pull up. But I love your community does a magazine. That's super nice.
I know. I love it. And I was just realizing it's here somewhere. I just barely set it aside for us recording. But anyway, I think they have Lamb Days in one location. Yeah, they have several different things where the different communities. This weekend we have Scandinavian Days. I've never really gone because it's always Memorial Day weekend and we always go do something else.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm going to totally think about that. Oh, except I'm not around this weekend. Like, not available to be in that area. But I have heard about Scandinavian Days, and I think that sounds super fun. Yeah. And I think Heber City does something. They have a big festival as well. I can't think of what theirs is called now.
Seems like it would be something with Scandinavia-ish.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why it was spurring my memory. Anyway, but that's fun. Yeah. Fun to have all these different.
I think that's the thing, too, to just look at the festivals for sure in your own town, and then also things that are kind of close, right?
Yeah.
And I bet you have a bunch of stuff within an hour and a half. And of course, everything's within an hour and a half. I totally get that thing where it's like, could it be closer? That would be great. But still, one can branch out a little bit and decide to go do some things. So
yeah, anyway. Super fun.
Okay, well, Idea Beast is rolling. You and I might continue talking about this, just texting or when we exercise or whatever, just because.
Yes, super fun things. Awesome.
Thanks for coming to Meeting of the Moms. We hope it made your load a little lighter. We'd love to hear what's on your mind. Send your celebrations, takeaways, and suggestions for future topics to momswithamyandlorna@gmail.com.
If you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe. If this isn't the right fit for you, we wish you well on your journey. Until next time, I'm Lorna Adams.
And I'm Amy Rasmussen. See you next week at Moms.